right. Well, as you know, there was a cabinet shuffle. What was it last week? The shuffle that wasn't much of a shuffle, but it was quite a bit of a shuffle. With Trevor Mallard shuffling off end of the year and someone else shuffling into his seat. I noticed they're rebuilding the slide. I'm going to find out how much it costs to rebuild the slide at Parliament. And one of the shuffles was that Potu Williams, who was apparently doing perfectly well on the job, for some reason wasn't the Minister of Police anymore. And Chris, if it's a tough job, give it to me, Hipkins became the Minister of Police. He has now had time to read his briefing notes on what is just a cruisy job. And he joins us on the line now. Chris, welcome to the program. Congratulations on, the easy job new portfolio.
Well, thank you, Sean. It was time to do something a little bit different. I'm looking forward to it. Police is something that I've been interested in for some time, and I think our police do an amazing job, and I'm looking forward to getting out and about and talking to them a bit more. Okay.
What will you do differently policy-wise from Potu Williams?
Look, I think the government already had a couple of things underway, which I'm intending to continue through. I think we do.
So you'll just continue doing what Potu Williams was doing then?
Well, not necessarily. I think that we do need to acknowledge that there's an escalation around gang-related activity, and we need to make sure that we're giving the police all the tools that they that they could usefully have at their disposal.
Have you not been giving all the police all the useful tools at their disposal that they needed, or did Potu Williams not give them all the tools they needed?
Oh, I think we need to acknowledge that gang tensions have increased, and that the nature
I think everyone acknowledges that, Minister, absolutely. So what I'm asking you is, what are you going to do differently to de-escalate gang tensions than your predecessor?
Oh, well, we're having a good close look at that at the moment, and I'm hoping that
so what I'm hearing, Minister, is you're going to have a look at a problem we all recognise already exists, right?
Well, we've got to make sure that what we do is actually going to work. I'm not interested in the rhetoric. I'm interested in practical things that are going to make a difference, that are going to make it easier for police to get out there and tackle the escalating problems.
What might those things be? What might those things be?
Well, clearly we've got the Firearms Protection Orders legislation going through the House at the moment, and so I'll be looking to make sure that we've got all of the issues around that right.
Okay. What extra power? Let's deal with that then. What extra power or tools will that give the police?
Well, it will mean that people who have been involved in violent activity and will be able to be prevented from holding firearms, from being around
hang on. But in terms of the current gang tensions, that has no impact whatsoever, because the people running around shooting each other are not lawful licensed firearm owners, are they, Minister?
Well, but the issue is that, it's going to give the police more power to be able to seize firearms and to be able to arrest people.
They've already got all the power they need to seize firearms off gang members who don't legally own them.
Well, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think if the police had all of the powers that they needed, then they wouldn't be coming to the Parliament and saying, actually, we think that these will provide useful additional powers for us. So I think we do need to accept that the laws in this area can be strengthened.
In what area? In the area of firearms licensing?
In the area of people using firearms illegally, is there more that we can do? Yes, there is. Firearms protection orders are one of the things that we can do.
Okay, how does that stop the current spate of drive-by shootings right now?
Look, I think that's something that the police are very, very
No, my question was, how does that legislation stop the current spate of drive-by shootings right now?
Well, it's not going to guarantee. It's not going to give any guarantee.
So let's just clarify. The answer is that it doesn't.
Well, nothing is going to guarantee anything here. What we can do is make sure that we're giving the police the best support and the best powers possible. They'll make decisions on a day-to-day basis about how they can best tackle.
But you've just said this legislation doesn't do anything to solve the current problem. So how are you going to solve the current problem?
Well, getting firearms out of the hands of gang members has clearly got to be a good thing. It's not necessarily going
it does.
To
so how are you going to help police do that, given that you've just said the legislation won't necessarily do that? Right here, right now, next week.
Well, that's not what I've said. That's not what I've said.
Definitely what you said.
It might not guarantee that there's going to be no drive-by shootings, but it is going to help to reduce the probability of that happening.
By how much? Give me a factor of how much does it reduce the probability by?
Oh well, the fewer guns.
No, give me quantify. Give me some data. Quantify how you said it will reduce the probability by how much?
Well, I don't have.
You don't know. Okay, that's good. That's fine. You don't know. Okay. So apart from you just being the new Minister of Police, what is it that you're going to do to stop the current spate of drive-by shootings?
I think we've got to work with the police to identify what additional.
I don't think I don't think, Minister, that anyone would disagree that a Minister of Police would have to work with the police.
Yeah,
and the
that's
police,
right.
and the police will be part of the solution. I can presume that your predecessor was working with the police.
Well, look, I think let's give it a couple of weeks. I'm working through some options with the police at the moment. I don't have anything to announce today, but we are looking at what more we can do to support the police to do this job.
Do you think giving money to gangs is a good way to stop the increase in gang activity?
I think decreasing the level of involvement in gangs, I think dealing with drug and alcohol addiction, I think those things can make a difference.
Do you think, the question was, do you think giving money to gangs is a good way to reduce gang activity?
Oh, it depends on the circumstances.
Under what circumstances? Under what circumstances is giving money to gangs likely to decrease gang activity?
If we're talking about tackling drug and alcohol addiction, then making sure that we're getting that support to where it can actually tackle drug and alcohol addiction. I think
but you know as well as I, Minister, no one on that mongrel mob or was it Black Power drug and alcohol thing actually had a drug and alcohol problem. And it hasn't been properly audited. It was a complete joke, and you know it.
Well, look, I haven't had a chance to have a look at the detail of all of that yet.
Okay.
But
I come back to my initial question. In general, do you think giving money to gangs is a way to reduce gang activity?
I don't want to completely rule out the possibility of working with some of the gang members to reduce gang-related activity. But I'm not going to say that I think it's a great idea or a bad idea on a blanket basis like that.
Okay. Why is it you, Mr. Hipkins, who gets all the tough jobs? Do you miss the memo, or are you late for the meeting every time they're doling out tough portfolios?
Look, I like a challenge, Sean. I like to be busy. And there's no doubt that this one's going to keep me busy for a little while. And, I think, there's more that we can do here.
Yeah, there is. I just wish you'd tell me what that is.
Well, you're going to have to give me a couple of weeks to at least make sure that...
All right, let's reconvene. Let's reconvene, Minister, in a couple of weeks. And you can tell us what the solution is. Look,
happy to come back again once we've worked through some options.
All right, Chris Hipkins, I thank you very much indeed for joining us on the platform for the first time, and good luck in your endeavours in dealing with what is a serious social problem. Thank you.